go ahead and call the meeting to order, 6:35. And of course, we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic
which it
which
stands,
stands
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and
justice for all.
I swear Dave Mangan is doing this tonight because I do it to him every
There he is.
day.
There you
There
are.
he is.
All right. Just we'll go around the horn and take attendance here. Just to make sure that Joe's got what he needs. Joe's going to take notes and minutes.
Oh, good.
All right. And okay, so the first thing on the agenda is approval of the November 2023 minutes that Bob sent out. Do we have a motion to accept the minutes?
Accept.
Okay. I'm looking for, do we have a
I
quorum? Hold on, do we have a quorum?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, we have 7 of us.
Okay, we have a motion to accept the minutes,
Yes.
seconded.
Second.
All those in favor of the November 2023 minutes?
Aye.
Aye. Any abstain?
Aye.
Okay. Joe, if you can pass those over to Robert and he'll put them up. He'll have Sherry post them to the website.
All right.
I'm looking here to see do we have any members of the public that would like to join us? I don't see any.
Or none.
So seeing none, we'll go ahead and move on. Dan Benjamin just joined. All right, David, you up?
I'm up. I'm here.
Okay, you're up for the VSO report.
Okay, then. Very good, Paul. Thank you. The December 19th, 2023. The Veterans Monthly Food and Dry Goods Support Program will be held tomorrow, December 20th, behind the Senior Center from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. All 26 applicants have been notified today by Nancy Jenny, our volunteer, who does it for us every month. If any veteran spouse or immediate family member of a veteran would like to participate in this program and to be included in the drive-through and the pickup, please call our office for further information, 781-246-6377, at which time we can add them onto the list. It is imperative that you get on the list before you can receive the goods, unless we have extra, of course. The products are offered to the Boston Food Bank and the Wakefield Food Pantry. There's a selection of meats, vegetables, and canned goods, as well as dry goods. The next Veterans Coffee Social will be held on Saturday, January 20th, at the Senior Center, 30 Converse Street, Wakefield, downstairs in the cafeteria from 10 a.m. through 12 noon. Our guest speaker will be Barnaby Silien, the Veterans Outreach Coordinator for the Home Base program. Home Base, a Red Sox Foundation and Massachusetts General Hospital program. They provide mental health care for veterans and their families, providing resources that assist with healing the invisible wounds of war. He will be discussing some of the aspects of what they do for veterans and how to contact them, as well as many of the awesome programs they have available. Please come and share some of the highlights of the proposed HERO Act fact sheet being offered by the Healy-Driscoll administration as well. I have the 2-page report available in my office if anyone needs it or wants to review it, or if you can visit the mass.gov website to visually see it. The turnout for the wreaths across America was tremendous. We had the biggest turnout ever for the distribution of the wreaths. As I have mentioned each month under Chapter 115, the Massachusetts General Laws, the Commonwealth provides a uniform program of financial and medical assistance for veterans and their dependents. Qualifying veterans and their dependents receive necessary financial assistance for food, shelter, clothing, fuel, and medical care in accordance with a formula that takes into consideration the number of dependents and income from all sources. For appointments of veteran services, please contact me with any questions you may have regarding ongoing benefits or submission of new benefits. We are located downstairs, rear entrance to the Senior Center, 30 Congress Street, Wakefield. It is by appointment only. The veteran service hours of operation are only 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. These hours may vary depending upon the type of a week we're having, either earlier or later. Holidays on Monday hours will be Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Voicemail is checked 7 days a week at 781-246-6377. Thank you very much. Any questions at all from anybody regarding this report? Thank you.
Excellent job. Thank you very much. And good job at the coffee on Saturday. That was amazing how you were able to pull all that together.
You too, Paul. You did a great job with those.
Hey, did Lieutenant Coulter go to the coffee?
I didn't see him.
He was the lieutenant that was there at the ceremony.
No, I don't think he was at the coffee.
All
We
right.
had a turn out for the coffee, Paul, more than I expected, to be honest with you. We
Yeah.
didn't have coffee donuts. Thank you, Dale, for picking all that up.
Okay. Lieutenant Coulter was he's a graduate of Norwich University and a recruiting operations officer at Northeastern University right now. And he leaves on the 5th or 6th of January to go to the advanced course, or the basic course actually, for intelligence. He's a MI officer. Okay.
No, he didn't approach me, Paul. Had he approached me, I remember the name.
Yeah. Items for discussion. We'll go down the list here. I've got any discussion on the wreath program on Saturday. We had first of all great weather and great support from Dennis Fazio and the DPW crew. But anything that we need to do to add to that ceremony and perhaps other events that we do as a board for the community.
Paul, I did get the information sent to me on the Shaw's folks that were there with the pastries. I'm going to send them out a thank you letter in regard from the town of Wakefield for their hospitality.
Okay.
And hopefully they'll repeat that in years going forward. They were very generous with that. It was nice to have it there because with the increase of people we're getting at these events, it's going to be very well received, I'm sure.
Yeah, they also might be a good resource as a speaker for Saturday coffee.
Yes, I'm thinking of that too.
Just to throw that out there. They just so everybody knows, it was about 15 minutes before we were starting, and this group of people came up, pitched a tent, asked if it was okay to do so, and we said sure. Had no idea who called them up. They
saw an article in the newspaper, Paul. I asked him about that, and like I said, I have their contact people for that. So, yeah.
I thought it was the scouts or something.
No. So just I did not do any direct coordination with Jennifer McDonald for the wreaths. The only thing I did was I worked with the Wakefield item, and I also put it on the community calendar that's run by the library. And we can put the events that we have on an annual basis, doesn't cost us anything, on the community calendar. Jen McDonald has 5 out of 5 lights on. She saw what was going on, and she put together posters all on her own. and posted those up around the lake. I think there were some posts also on Facebook, Chris, and Joe. I think that was good and effective. It didn't cost anything. It was relatively easy to do. Wreaths Across America has a specific font and color palette that they use in their advertising, and they also design a specific social media stamp that you can use on a Facebook or any social media piece. Mark, welcome.
Hey,
I
Mark.
made it.
You-
Yeah, there was an update. I'm sorry, not to interrupt, but there was a update on the computer. It was going to take 6 to 8 minutes, and I didn't want to do it, but my wife did it for me. So
Well, it's that time of year.
yeah,
Yeah, Paul,
Paul, I'd like to think that putting posters to the various clubs in town helped get additional people there also. We, both the Knights got it and so did the Three Cs. I was able to get posters that they put it on their bar so that people would know that it was coming, the wreaths.
Yeah.
So anything that we can do to move it along. I also have something I would like to discuss, which is expanding the wreaths to include Lakeside. I realize that Lakeside is a totally different animal from Forest, but I'd like to at least do some preliminary things to find out if it is and if it's feasible. Of course, Lakeside is run by a board of trustees, and they would have to give approval for us to do it. Supposedly, the Boy Scouts were going to put wreaths there last weekend or whatever, but as of noontime today, there was no wreaths on any of the veterans' graves. And there's at least 20 and probably a lot more veterans buried in Lakeside, including my father-in-law and a nephew. The father-in-law,
160, Galen.
there's 50.
160. 160.
Yeah. Now I realize I think it's reasonable probably that the major ceremony take place at Forest, okay, but somehow we ought to break something off to go over to Lakeside also and include those people in there. As I started to say, I have a father-in-law who fought in World War II is buried there. I have a nephew who was in the Navy in the 90s who's buried there. And there's a lot of veterans, and I don't think we should ignore them.
I don't think they're being ignored, Dale, but so there's
Well, they are as far as the wreaths across America is concerned.
Hey, Dale?
Yeah.
There's 430 wreaths that Dennis and the folks and myself, we counted. When you count the headstones at the veteran sections, okay, in the Forest Glade Cemetery, plus the monuments around town, okay, that do get a wreath. Well, Dennis and I will probably bump that up a little bit to maybe 450 next year. Okay. The intent of the program here is not to cover family graves. Okay. Leave those for the families to do. The intent here is to cover the graves in the veteran sections. Veterans receive a benefit to be buried, okay, at no cost in a veteran section, okay, in a public cemetery, and they get a stone to do that. Not that we're not honoring all veterans, okay, but when we place the order with Wreaths Across America, we're not taking individual orders for individual family graves. We're just doing a group order for one cemetery, okay? And I haven't figured out yet how, and I've done this for decades, down at Bourne National Cemetery. It's a jam when Wreaths Across America shows up, and you try to find, the wreath for Frank Cancelleri, who passed away and is buried down in Bourne National Cemetery. Okay, because that one wreath comes on a truck with about 1,000 people trying to buzz around it to go find it. They are tagged, okay, for individuals, but I haven't seen a very successful distribution by Wreaths Across America to individual graves. Okay,
I'm not asking, I'm not saying for individual graves. I'm saying for the veterans' graves, and if you've got 50 of them that you're not doing, okay, there should be, I
I'm not,
mean,
can
that
you,
just like,
can you look into see if Lakeside has a veteran section?
I think there is a small section which is across from the chapel there, and there's about 20 graves along that line. Whether there's any more in that area, I haven't done a complete look because I don't know whether they'd even allow us to put wreaths on the graves.
They go back to the Civil War and I think the Grand Army of the Republic. So there's a lot there. And we do have a list of them, but it'd be almost impossible to find them.
Okay, I think it ought to be at least looked at, and I'm willing to do that.
It was
look at it.
up the one year we had, I think, 14 inches of snow, and just to find the veterans lot, find the stones.
Yeah, it's a little, the other piece I can share, it's very difficult to be in two places at once, because I had that responsibility this year with Riverside Cemetery in Saugus and Forest Glade Cemetery here in Wakefield. Dale, you're more than willing to take a look at it, okay? Put together a proposal for the board and see if we can, if it makes sense to upgrade and put some more wreaths out on Lakeside Cemetery. The other challenge that we have, and what I mean by being two places at once, Wreaths Across America ceremony occurs 12 o'clock on a Saturday across the entire country. So what you're asking the board here is to give consideration to two ceremonies in the town of Wakefield as opposed to one.
No, I think it should be at the Forest Cemetery, okay, that the ceremony. I'm only saying that some of the wreaths that are distributed to the graves should go to Lakeside also. But that's for the board or people to decide.
I think the only way it could be done is if we got the 400 for the Forest Glade veterans lot, and then somehow people that had, family members in another cemetery could order those, and we'd give it to them to bring over to that cemetery. But they could be part of the Wreaths Across America, but they'd have to bring the wreath over.
Right, that's perfect, Dan. I was gonna suggest the same thing. Because you
And I
may
think-
not get all family members. A lot of veterans that are buried at Lakeside don't have family in the town even, So you got to go by choice by the individual family member who has a veteran at Lakeside would like to have a wreath placed at that gravestone to pick it up at Forest Glade at our service, the one service, and they can bring it over themselves. I believe there was one veteran daughter that was there on Saturday who asked for a wreath for her father, who was buried somewhere else in Forest Glade, and with the family. And I believe she picked up one of the wreaths and went with it. So that being said, it was not right, perhaps, but I think it gives us an idea of how that what Dan just said, how we could tie that into the program on that same day, and by that person sending in a request at Wreaths Across America on the document, maybe having a little thing written on it, family member at Lakeside or something like that. Forest Glade, yes, but a Lakeside code or something in the bottom corner of the application or something, and that person's name would be given to us. I can coordinate it here in my office, Dale, where they could call this office to have them put on a listing. You know what I'm saying? That's put something together, Dale. We'll bring this up, as Paul said, at one of the advisory board meetings going forward. We have time.
In case
Thank
it
you.
did know exactly where to put the wreath also. We would never know where to put it, but there might be a
A family
mistake.
member would.
to put it, and they can place it themselves, make their own little ceremony for it.
That's it.
Yeah,
Okay.
That's a great idea, Dale. Great consideration. Thank you.
any other questions on the Wreath Day program? Okay. Yes, did I hear? Okay,
I think we should, though, before send a letter out to Dennis Fazio, thanking him for what he did and his crew for doing it, and also to Ian at WCAT for doing it also. You know, a letterhead of something.
Oh, thank you. I can do it from my office. I have the letterhead, the town letterhead here.
okay.
A thank you note to Shaw's. I might as well send one to WCAT as well, Dan. Yeah, what else? I gave Dennis some new flags too. I gave from our inventory of the donated flags. I gave him 3 3x5 flags for that area because the flags are getting a little tired. And there'll be nice, fresh new flags up there this week.
Might be interesting to have Dennis at one of our coffee socials if he was willing to come. But, you know, I learned a lot of flags just talking to him at that day about the big flag up on the World War II monument, that they change that a couple of times a year, I guess. And those are quite expensive, those big flags.
We have one. We have a big one here.
Well, the other person, Counselor Dombrowski, did an excellent job also for us.
He did. Very good.
His words were spot on. And he pulled that, it was well done. I'll reach out and give him a personal thanks. And I usually do give a personal thanks to WCAT and also to Dennis. So, and I'll continue to do that. Dave, if you can follow up with, letterhead, that would be good.
Sure, sure.
And Paul, just for your information, I did receive a call from another community that is looking into possibly doing a Wreaths Across America also, but would like some, assistance from us, some info on us. But I'll get back to you. You can call me on that.
Okay. Just to kind of sum up something that Dale brought up, if there's a board of trustees for Lakeside Cemetery, they have to agree to the program, and they would also have to register the cemetery with Wreaths Across America. Just to put that down. Many years ago, I helped the town of Wakefield register with Dennis with Wreaths Across America.
Okay, that sounds reasonable.
So
I don't know who the exact board is for Lakeside, but I'm pretty sure that one of the people that run the Quinlan Memorial, I think he's on that board.
okay, moving on. The next item that I threw out here, and this is just information only, the HERO Act. Dave Mangan mentioned it briefly. It is included in the packet this evening for information only. There is a 2-page fact sheet that's on the town website that the public can access. But to kind of sum it up, the HERO Act is an act honoring and empowering and recognizing our service members and veterans for the purposes of following 17 spending and policy initiatives, tax credits, and statute changes organized into 3 different buckets. The 3 different buckets of these 17 different issues are labeled benefit expansion, commitment to inclusivity and greater representation, and modernization of veteran services. Just an idea here. One of those was the tax benefit that recently got voted on at the town meeting, okay, to double here in Wakefield at the November town meeting. But the tax benefit to link it to the cost of living allowance is one of those 17 issues that is in that packet. Okay. And this is to go before both the Senate and the House at the State House, okay, to get a vote. And it was announced on Veterans Day. by Governor Healy and her administration. So there's information there to highlight it. There's more information on mass.gov if you want to dig into that. Something that I think each of us should know about as representatives of veterans here in town. There is no need for us to take a vote on it. Let's see. Upcoming events. Just a reminder, on February 3rd, which is a Saturday, 2024 at 9 o'clock, we will have a small ceremony outside Temple Emmanuel in front of a small monument devoted to the 4 chaplains. That ceremony basically commemorates the men and women that drowned when the USS Dorchester was sunk, and the act that the 4 chaplains took to help save a few of the sailors. Temple Emmanuel does have their Saturday service at 9:30. Okay, so there's a hard stop there. I will be addressing the congregation there also on Friday night at their evening service. It's a small ceremony, usually done outside. Last year it was in single digits, so they opened up the temple and brought us inside. It's on a Saturday, and again, I encourage anybody that wants to come to please join us. And then Monday, May 27, just a reminder here, Memorial Day. The scope of that is 1 p.m. outside on the Lower Common in front of the War Memorial this year, not inside the Galvin Middle School. We'll go with an outdoor ceremony. And then the final ceremony that we have on the docket is Friday, June 14th, 6 p.m. at the War Memorial in the Lower Common for Flag Day. That's usually run by the American Legion and the veterans, combined with efforts from the Boy Scouts. And that's also a flag retirement ceremony that the Boy Scouts do. So that big flag that Dennis takes down, that may be one that we can retire officially, okay, in the back there on the Lower Common during that ceremony.
Paul, is there a POW flag on that flagpole up there? Should there be one?
I think there is.
I think there is a POW flag.
Because I've got POW flags available also from the donation that was made by Sal Gismondo back a year ago. So
Okay. Yeah, and again, Dennis is the one that maintains that.
I'll make sure he gets a new one.
Okay. So just
I have a comment. Okay, the last year there was no power for any kind of the speaker system that was provided. I'm not sure who's. I don't know if that's Stamcella and AmVets that has it, or if it's Wakefield's equipment. But there was no power, and you couldn't get to the power that is there. It's all locked up.
I think that's Dennis again takes care. He took care of that for Purple Heart Day, I know.
Yep.
He took up what? I did.
We ran light on Purple Heart Day last year, and Dennis took care of the electrical box there. Dennis Fazio. He's in charge of like parks and grounds.
Oh, okay. Well, but someone from the
In other words,
DPW got to come and lock it on Flag Day.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
We'll do it.
Okay. We'll give him a heads up, Dale.
Simple thing. Simple thing.
I think the box will be unlocked. We just have to let them know ahead of time. That's all.
Yeah.
Just to go around the horn, I'll start with Chris. You got anything to add other than the fact that you're no longer a student? You're officially done.
No, other than that, I'm good right now. I think I'm looking forward to having a glass of wine or something to celebrate. I don't know. No, I'm good. It was it was a great event the other day. I thought that was we were talking about earlier, but good event. I'm looking forward to participating in more of those types of things around town.
You know, if anybody on the board would like to moderate any of these events that I just listed, let me know. I'll be happy to work with you to go ahead and stand it up. I don't have to do them all. In fact, Memorial Day may be a little bit difficult for me to do because I'm probably going to get stuck in that quagmire of being in two places at once. So I'm going to be looking for some help. Don't all volunteer at once.
I'm always here to help. You know that, Paul. I'll be there to back you up. I'm your wingman, Paul. I'm an Air Force wingman, so.
All right. Dale, you got anything to add? Dale,
No, I'm good. I'm good. I've said my piece.
okay. Marion, you got anything?
Nope, just working, trying to do the stuff for the veterans. We donated, the Gold Star Wives of Boston chapter donated 52 baskets filled with household goods for these veterans at the New England Center and Home. They take the baskets with them when they finally get their forever home. We were just in there yesterday wrapping gifts. We had we donated gifts, and a couple of other organizations donated toys. And we had the guys and girls come in and they picked out toys for their children and their grandchildren, and we wrapped them up for them, gave them cookies and coffee, and it was really a good day. This is the 4th year I think we've done that. So we just keep looking for things to do to help the veterans. That's all.
Okay, okay. Thank you very much, and thank you for the work that you do with the Gold Star Wives. That's excellent.
Thank you.
Dan, you got anything?
Always got something. I know it's probably over a year away, but the rededication, I guess, of the Civil War Monument, Soldiers and Sailors, we should start thinking about that. If we, how big a ceremony it's going to be, work with the town, work with the historical commission about that. And, it's not too early to get, if we want to get any military units up there. If we wanted something like I think it's a 215th National Guard band, maybe might play at it, but things like that. We can get ahead of the curve here.
Do we have a schedule from the people who are doing the reconstruction work, when that will be ready exactly?
I thought they said the fall of 26. It's what in the anniversary date, what it's the 150th?
Okay, so I have an unofficial that it may be, those statues may be done in the fall of 2024. Okay. But the ceremony that you're referring to is Revolution 250, which is a celebration of the 250th year of the United States of America. And that's in 2026. Okay. So I don't know if there is an official committee yet, but the spine of the committee is going to be with our historical commission, and there will be a town councilor that I'm sure that's appointed to doing that ceremony. That none of that has been made public yet. Okay, so stay tuned.
I say that because I am a member of the historical commission. And I think our liaison is also on it, at least this year, which I think is Ed. So right there, I'm going to put at our next meeting of the historical commission, I will bring that up also.
Okay. Yeah, well, I guess the minimum would be if we can lock in a date. Just a target down the road.
I think you might want weather type of date.
Well, the other, and you did hit the nail on the head. It takes more than 90 days to get the military units to come and join us.
So
I-
From
I
the-
stepped away for a minute. We had a spider in the bathroom that I had to deal with. It was a small crisis. But before I left, I did hear you mention the 215th Army Band. I would also suggest we look at the 54th Mass Volunteers, right? The trace their lineage to the Civil War unit, the 54th. So they still exist as a ceremonial honor guard unit today. They may be worth also reaching out to, and I think we can probably do that through. I don't know if it's through General. What's his name at National Guard headquarters at Hanscom.
Vern,
General Keith?
Not Keith, but at any rate, I can figure who the POC is, but it may be worth inviting them as well. It's a Civil War era monument, so.
I will say that I'm a member of the North-South Skirmish Association, and the 54th is part of that also. So we could possibly go through them and at least make a contact with them.
We also have the Civil War reenactment group there that takes care of the Lakeside Cemetery as it is. So I'm sure they'd want to be in on it.
I have their contact information, Dan.
I just think it's a rare opportunity. You know, we none of us will be around the next time Wakefield rededicates a Civil War era monument, so we might as well take advantage of the opportunity now.
You know, on-
Point. Hey, Dan, if the Wakefield Historic Commission would also like to know, I do have a list of all of the local fife and drum units, okay, in the New England area. I happen to have that. It's on my phone. So we can reach
Sounds
out.
like a party, guys. A couple of food trucks and a beer wagon. We're all set.
Yeah, that's the Air Force is coming. Yes, I can see that.
Right, that's right. Airlift.
The Air Force didn't participate in that Civil War. I know that.
There was
Oh.
balloons,
From being involved,
a lot of hot air.
All right.
from being involved with the 4th of July parade, I got a lot of units out there that I have names and numbers on, believe me.
Okay. Good stuff, Dan. Anything else? Dan? Mark,
That's
you got
it.
Oh, I have nothing.
nothing to add? Okay. Joe, I didn't forget you. You got anything? I know you're busy listening and recording.
Just typing away.
Okay. Miriam, did I skip you? I didn't.
No,
No,
I got you. Okay.
Dave.
Dave,
Yes, sir.
Okay, I got three things actually real quick. First of all, Charlie's on Main, that does do veteran discounts that burned down last year. He's reopened over on Montvale Avenue. I was there today, and he's got a wonderful establishment all set. And he's going to also continue giving the veteran discount for the fire department, police department, and for veterans discounts. And also I was approached this morning by one of the residents of Wakefield in my office. He popped in and thought I should bring it up at the meeting tonight about the fact that we should have lights on the veterans sign at the veterans field. That it wouldn't be a bad idea to have lights that shoot up onto the sign. I said that I think there's a street lamp there, but she doesn't feel it's bright enough to give it the real caliber. It's a beautiful sign, and she wanted me to tell Dan and Lois, thank you so much. And
We had a budget.
well, it's funny you say that because no, there's some money about ready to be donated to the town, Paul, from the Saugus, that money that was left over that Jay had sent out the message on today. That Wakefield will be getting, I think it's $2,900, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
We're gonna find a place to put that as well. And also, I wanted to bring this up just minutely about the veteran service officers' hours being 18 hours a week. Under CMR 108-12-3, the Massachusetts bylaws for veteran services require that a town with more than 12,000 people in it, it's required they have a full-time veteran service officer. Now, granted, I don't do this job for the money, but only 18 hours a week is not nearly enough time. It takes me sometimes 30 to 35 hours a week, utilizing a lot of my time off to do that. And like I said, I don't mind doing that. But, and I'm worried about the fact that the town is not going to get the type of service that it should be getting with 27,000 people in the community. As well as the fact that the previous veteran service officers never lasted more than a year and 2 months. And when I asked Mary Ann about the first year I was here, I said, I really like this job. I want to see if I could be here the longest. Her response was, you already have been. Which means when a VSO comes on board, it takes roughly 4 to 6 months to get trained in the aspects of both Chapter 115 and the on-base program, rather, plus veteran-spec systems for more and more veteran spouses and coming into the community and to provide them the services they need. Alone today, I was here for 2.5 hours this morning to get ready for this week. And I walked into my office this evening about 5:45, and I had 5 voicemails. A lot of them were very encouraging. You're 100% from 10%, and a couple were not so much, where the veterans lost her father, another one lost her husband. But this type of thing, and to only work the 6 hours in a day only gives me the opportunity to service 4 veterans, maybe 3 to 4. It takes over an hour and a half, and Paul can contest this in his spot in Saugus, that once you start a claim for a veteran, it takes well over an hour to do it properly, then to scan it, send it off, package it. It's a lot more work than I think that they're looking at it being. So unless they want to continue getting good veteran services, they need to get this into a 35 to 40 hour a week job. That's it. That's all I want to say. Thank you.
You're gonna ruin my golf game.
I'm sorry.
But
I agree with Dave, and I think he says an hour and a half. Well, it'll be 4.5 hours if you did it yourself, and you wouldn't know where to send it into. Dave has got it and presses that button and it's there.
We're very lucky to have Dave in Wakefield.
And I'm lucky to be here, Dale. Thank you. I took the job to help Vietnam veterans originally, with the fact that 390 of them a day are dying across the country. Our town is no exception to be having a lot of veterans, particularly from Agent Orange, and the Korean War veterans passing away at this point. Grave markers, annuities, DICs for dependents, all these things come into play. It's a mountain of work. And after almost 5 years of doing this, yes, I have a lot of shortcuts, and I have a lot of information to give the other VSOs when they come on board. But that being said, it doesn't change the perception of what this town is going to need to have a quality individual here after I'm gone. Because I'm not going to be doing this for more than 5 more years, I don't think. God willing, I will. But if not, to replace me, that person is going to be, the town's not going to get the quality care that it's going to take to get the veteran benefits for these veterans and their families.
I'll ask the $1 million question here. How many VA claims have you done since you've been in that position?
About 600.
That's a mountain full.
It is. My drawers are full. I mean, it's incredible. This week alone, I'll be doing 10.
Yeah.
Let me ask a general question. Can the town hire an assistant for them if they decide to do that? Is that acceptable to?
The system won't work. The director right now should be coming over here once a week, and she's probably going to be doing that now that she has her own VSO in Melrose. And I could leave her something to do on a Tuesday or a Friday. I could carry it over. She's got the work order's been put in through Mark O'Malley, the IT person here for Wakefield, to have her get a computer link in, so she comes here and Karen has set up an office for her next door here to work out of on my days off. Now, if that happens, I could, if she was here 1 day a week for 4 hours, 5 hours, that would help considerably. as the director. We pay, Wakefield and Saugus pay into the director's salary in Melrose. As part of the payment program for her pay rate. And if we were to say, make this position full-time, then it wouldn't change the amount of money that this town will be losing or gaining. It's a formula that has to be looked at from all different aspects, from Steve Mayo to the accountants to Evan in Boston, the director of Massachusetts Veteran Services, along with Santiago. That has to be looked at. I brought it up to all of them. I've whispered it in their ear, so to speak. In Leominster, I spoke to Santiago, the new director, and I spoke to him about it. He hasn't gotten back to me, and I don't expect him to anytime soon. But I'm at the point now where I think it's going to be my responsibility to send out the CMR 108-12-3 requirement for the state to do just that before they start getting in trouble for violating, when the veteran services people that are supposed to be getting services are not getting them. If I start to back off on my workload, sure, then the top will say, oh, what's going on here? We got to fix this. But I'm not doing that. I'm doing more than my job right now. So that's what I'm saying. I'm not complaining, mind you. I'm just concerned about the future. That's it.
You know, Dave, we don't have really a VFW anymore around. We have a couple of guys left in the American Legion. The DAV, I don't know if that exists, but you're the only guy left to carry the flag for the veterans of Wakefield. So you should feel.
Yeah, I know it. And the shortcuts are working, actually. But
Can we, as a board, put together some kind of a letter in support of him increasing his hours and at least make the town council know that we're supportive of that? I mean, just to show some support as a board.
I think
we can't do anything about increasing the hours, but we can show support for that and letting them know that we know the extra work he does and how much he's needed. I mean, because I know Dave doesn't just help the people in Wakefield. There's people that have bad VSOs, and there are those out there that just they're sitting there just taking up space. And they end up calling other VSOs, and he never turns them away. I mean, he goes above and beyond what his job is, and maybe a letter from the Veterans Advisory Board, at least showing support for him, might be something we might consider.
I've been keeping a log for the last 5 years of every single claim that comes in, every phone call, everything that's come across this desk. I have a log for each and every day, the date, the time, and the person that called, their phone numbers, everything I took place with that client for 5 years. All right. So if there's ever a need to look at that, to do a comparative analysis for the labor intensity of this position, I have it.
Good.
I think the town council every couple of meetings calls in some of the boards or committees in Wakefield and just has a general speech with them, see what's going on. And Paul, you'll probably be invited pretty soon to one of them. And this is something you can bring up.
Oh, absolutely. And I think Marion brings up a good point. I don't think the board would have a problem justifying additional hours. I think it's a better way to couch it is it's a redesign of the position requirements. Okay, as opposed to getting just additional hours and more pay and all that kind of stuff. I think it's a redesign of the position to meet what is outlined in the CMR 108.
Yeah.
Paragraph 12-3. Okay, and by bringing the state document to the attention of the Veterans Advisory Board to support that, I think we can also, where we would gain some strength is if the Veterans Advisory Board agrees to bring this forward to the town council for their support to bring it to the legislators. Okay, that would be my thought process and the way we're designed and kind of operate here. Okay, but to Dave's point, there's a gap here between what's required by the state and what's financed by the state.
Right.
Okay.
Gee, that's a surprise.
No, but when I say financed, I mean hours. Okay, I'm not talking about the actual pay.
Yeah, no. I knew what you meant.
It's not a requirement to have benefits available for 35 hours or 40 hours any longer. I thought that the reason they were doing that, Paul, was because then they would have to provide health benefits and everything else. It's not a requirement. It used to be, but not any longer. I have my own I have a retirement package from Boston College. I'm all set for my benefits. Plus, I have my VA available too. So it's not about benefits. And I just think that the money is going over to a district rather than keeping it here when we do the same thing here. We don't need to be in a district any longer. In fact, the way it's set up, it's saying in that chapter 108, the CMR, it's saying right there, you shouldn't have that many people in a town with only a part-time VSO. It's not fair to the veterans. You're stifling your whole community by not providing the services that is expected to be done. So that's it.
Okay.
Okay.
A good point to be added to the minutes at this point. I don't know if there's a motion for a vote. If anybody wants to make a motion here on what Dave just brought up, but I'd be happy to entertain that, or we can table it to the January 2024. I think it'd be a good issue to start the year, January 2024.
Is it something we actually have to make a motion on? Can't we just put it on the agenda for that meeting without a motion?
Yeah, we can add that to the agenda in 2024.
Yeah, and do our voting after we discuss it some more, maybe?
Yeah. And each of us can take a look at the CMR 108. It's a public document, that's available online. Okay. And I'm sure we can also, take paragraph 12-3 and add that to the agenda in January as information, much like what we did with the fact sheet for the HERO Act.
Yeah.
All right, I don't see our town councilor liaison, Ed Dombrowski. I just want to say publicly, thank you to Ed for supporting us on Saturday and his wonderful words to the public, to pull the ceremony together. Well done. And of course, Father Riley from the Lazarus Center for Healing Shrine, that is the former St. Florence Church. Okay. He was very, very good and very accommodating. And I hope he got to the wedding on time. He had a wedding to do that day too. Beautiful day for it too. So our next meeting is January 16th, 2024, Tuesday. January 16th, 2024 at 6:30 p.m. via Zoom. Any questions about the next meeting? Okay, Zoom is okay. Just as we enter into 2024, the town of Wakefield has also made available about 5 different locations to meet via electronically, where one of them is at the senior center upstairs in the classroom. Okay. The AmeriCal Civic Center in what I call the Red Room. That also has the ability to meet and we can share the video. Town Hall, I believe the library trustees room and the police station. They've got a room also that we can use. These rooms are designed for video conferencing. Okay, so if we have a need, just kind of sort of tuck that in the back of your head to reach out to members of the public. For larger audiences, those resources are available to us to do the meetings.
Would the hybrid meeting still be available for Zoom and do both?
Well, yeah, that would be kind of a hybrid.
Yeah.
And of course, WCAT, the studio is also available. So those are different places around town, but we have to coordinate that ahead of time with Sherry if we want to do the hybrid type of a meeting. Any matters that are not anticipated for the agenda?
I got one personal one that maybe the group can help me with. I had a senior in high school in Reading had asked me about a recruiter and where would be the nearest one, or I know they're few and far between now.
They're all together in certain areas. If you call for Armed Forces recruiter, that's where the way they're doing it. They weren't getting enough people to come, so they just sort of grouped together, but they don't have locations. You got to call them.
If he's a high school senior, then there's only one. So each branch has a recruiter assigned to a high school, and only that particular recruiter can talk to a student from that school. So if that individual just goes on goarmy.com or navy.com and enters their information, there's usually a little thing they can enter their name, their phone number, their email. It will get sent to the recruiter responsible for their high school. And then they'll get a phone call, a text, or an email back, and then they'll never get left alone until they wind up joining.
So that would be the same for like National Guard too.
Yes, sir. Is it a national? Is it interest in the National Guard?
He had an interest in going in the armed forces of some type. He wasn't
Okay.
sure.
Yeah, the National Guard is the exact same thing. I could certainly get you the name of the Reading recruiter. It's somebody that I know pretty well. I could send that to you offline.
Okay.
But yeah, that's where I would start. Is just the services website. Fill out the information. It goes directly to that recruiter for the school. But I can get you the name of the Reading recruiter after this.
I don't know whether I don't know whether the board knows this, but there's only one individual from the Wakefield High School that's going into the armed forces from the graduating class. Only one. And that's a sad, sad story.
Well, with him, he doesn't know what he wants to do. He's the typical high school senior. And, I said, you'll make a choice here, and a good choice.
So I'm gonna give you guys something in email. I don't know if the names match and the emails are still hot. But this is statewide contact information for recruiters. And the phone numbers, I'm sure, are still in effect, but like I said, the names on the emails may have changed a little bit. It's about 8 months old. I don't know how often they turn over.
Can you send that out to maybe everybody, just like an email or something? Might be easy.
That's what he just did.
You just did. I just got it. Yeah.
I just did that.
Okay.
Look, I'm gonna have to go because I
got
have
it.
another meeting that's already started for the Gold Star Wives, so I'm gonna have to leave. So
Merry Christmas,
Happy New Year,
Mary.
everybody.
Wait a
Merry
minute,
Christmas.
hold on 1 minute. Can you make
What?
can you make a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Anybody want to second that?
Yeah.
Second? Okay.
No.
Hey, Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Happy